printouts that has the instructions for the volunteers. They're called
super easy.
Yeah, it's like I'm gonna ask you stuff and you answer.
I'll probably still play
like
it the same way I
things.
used to, where I just ask Mark what to do.
No, I ask you what to do this time. It's different.
Oh, I want to do this noise. Okay,
Well,
wizard
what do you want to
background.
do, Mark?
Win everything.
You win. Game over.
Good job.
The Grimoire completely unlocks and opens all its secrets to you, and you're the most powerful wizard in the world. The end.
Super lava boots.
Let me go ahead and read the chat. Hello. Read the introduction to the Volunteers Guide for you and for the benefit of anyone who happens to be watching.
Still making you do stuff.
So this is the Wizard Grimoire. This is going to be the second session. I've already played a session with Heath and Peter volunteering with me. And it doesn't really, you don't really need to know that much about what happened before. So your goal in the game, you're doing me a favor just by playing, so you don't have to worry about winning or losing. The goal is just to say things that you personally find honestly entertaining. Your main job is to get with the other volunteer and make up answers to my questions. I'll ask things like, I'm set upon by raiders, what are they like? And you and your fellow volunteer can imagine any raiders you want, exactly the raiders you find most fun, and tell me about them together. If you want to ask me any questions before you answer mine, to make sure you've got all the details right or whatever, please do. I'll be more than happy to answer them. Sometimes the answer to one of my questions will be obvious, or you'll already know it from what somebody said before. In that case, just give the obvious answer. Sometimes my questions will be way out, weird, or contextless. You can always ask me clarifying questions, or you can just make something up and I have to deal with it. Sometimes I'll ask you to choose something from a list. Just go ahead and do that. And there's a sheet called the bestiary that basically just says, like, this is what the world is like. This is what humans are like. This is what magic is like. It's pretty straightforward. For anything to count, you and the other volunteer have to agree on it. If you don't agree about it, it's not true until you do. There are two of you. That way you can trade off and build on each other's ideas. So neither of you has to do all the work of GMing. If you have any trouble coming to agreement, or you want to use some kind of system to decide, rock, paper, scissors, or an oracle or something, you do whatever you like. Ending the game, any of us can end the game whenever we want for any reason or not at all. It doesn't matter how abrupt it might be. If at any point it seems impossible to entertain yourself or not worth it or anything like that, don't hesitate, just call an end. And that is the entirety of your rules. Mine are a little bit more, but that's fine.
Ours are just to like have fun.
If I remember correctly, you have this grimoire.
Yeah, I have
the unlock chapters of
the signature of the wizard Ibesta of the two courts. My name is Aquarex of the West, he and him. I am in equal parts ambitious, bold, cunning, and non-virtuous right now. Basically, the stats are determined by me answering some questions and then adding points. And if I want to change my stats at the beginning of a session, I can re-answer the questions. I looked at the questions. I don't think I've changed that much. Occasionally, there will be things I need to exert myself to do, which means make rolls for. And we will see what that looks like. I can exert myself empathetically, magically, mentally, physically, subtly, violently, or just submit to circumstance and see what happens. So last time we ended in a town of where's the book? Telenor was the guy at this bar, an inn that had some secrets about the book that I was told by a dream eater.
Yeah, well, it's written down somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of details. It's like, I don't remember any of them. Names, names. Worst GM ever. Volunteers, all right, not GM, volunteer.
Best.
Yeah, and really, it doesn't matter what happened last time. We can just make it up as we go along. All I have is in my notes is I am bound to return the signature to Telenor once I've learned its secret or died in the process. And he's teaching me siligomancy, which is bread magic.
Oh yeah.
Known to the commoner as breadomancy.
Yeah, Brennancy. I have a couple spells I can do, which are fun, but not many, so I want to learn more. So basically, each session is going to start with a spawning circumstance, and I can just choose one. Can you give me number 1 through 12 just to give me some place to look?
12.
We did 12 last time.
Oh, did we? What'd
Oh.
you say, Nate? We have both agreed it's 12 again.
We have decided. Do not
cool,
resist us.
number 2. This actually fits. So
It's going well so far.
I've
Right.
taken up in this tavern
Power's
whose
been
name,
undermined.
whose name escapes me.
Just wait.
It was good, whatever it was. I'm at home, hoping to pursue the quiet study of the signature when someone interrupts me. They've heard that I'm a wizard and they need my help. Who they are and what they need, I don't yet know. And now I ask you questions. So there's a knock on my door at the inn. I am disturbed, but I open it because it could be Telenor with some bread. Who do I see when I open the door?
Someone has summoned you. They need help. Someone did a we need to talk later text.
Someone has heard that I'm a wizard and they need my help, and I don't know who they are yet.
This is really rude. Okay.
I think it's a lady in very common clothing.
Cool.
Like an apron. And it's very, very like plain, like lower stature, not a noble person or anything. Like a working type class.
Working lady, of which there are several in this town.
Yeah.
Sheriff isn't in this game.
That's wrong game.
I hope not. It's quite dangerous.
And this lady wants to try to have sex with you and swap bodies. Wait.
Okay.
Don't do it. Don't talk to her.
That is within the realm of things that can happen.
Don't
sure.
talk to any of them. You'll die. People who hang out die.
Cool. So I guess I just, if I don't recognize her, just.
Yeah, I guess how much detail are we wanting? We're supposed to agree on this. I guess I'm.
Yeah, as much as you want, as much as we,
You can
or
jump
I
anytime.
can ask
We
more
Yeah.
clarifying
Her
questions.
name
as well.
is Rigarella.
Rigarella.
That's all I know so far. Yeah, Rigarella.
Great. I'm like,
I think I yeah.
Do I know you?
She's like, no, not yet. But I need to know you. I've heard. I've heard that you're the only one near the village who's got any knowledge of breadomancy.
I mean, there's Telenor downstairs. Sure, he'd be
Yes,
happy to help you. I'm kind of
but-
busy right now.
Well, he's busy running the thing, and he said that you were you needed to learn your breadomancy, and this could be like a trial for you if you could help me.
Telenor said that. Okay. Sure.
This is the zero good part.
What can I do for you?
Well, we got. Oh, hold on, let me look at the Grimoire. Remember what these things are called? The plasmas. There's a rogue plasmid who's come back again. We thought we were rid of it, but it's currently it's haunting the mill because we can't like make more grain and mill things anymore because it's in there trying to eat all the grain, and if it eats all the grain, we won't have enough food for the winter, and we'll have nothing to make more bread or more baked goods, and we'll all starve to death and die.
Nick, do you agree?
Yeah, I'm still trying to understand the game.
Yeah.
And I think I was like, it's about wheat. Her name is Rigarella, so far it's correct. Keep this getting it exactly right. So,
for those who are not familiar, in this game, plasmids are creatures made of magical energy, an expression of magical processes. The way that a living thing is an expression of biological processes. Plasmids no more understand our systems or concerns than we can understand theirs, and so appear to us to be fixated, flighty, fractious, negligent, stubborn, overliteral, malicious, and exacting. Rogue plasmids or free plasmids are no more than plasmids for whom the speaker has no use. There's a remnites are plasma creatures left over after the dissolution of its original purpose.
Just
Actually, I think that's more
old
I was thinking.
spells.
I was thinking more
the
of
way
a
that
night.
yeah, the way that spells work is that basically wizards harness these plasmids into their brain and then release their energy to cast the spell. And that's why you can like memorize the spell and it goes away. Cool. Rogue knight in the mill.
Yes, well, because I mean, with all the bredomancy that Telenor has taught others, naturally, when they're first learning, they don't have control, and so it ends up with lots of plasmids, and we end up with lots of rogue plasmids, and most of them have been taken care of, but we thought this one was too, but it's back.
So what is it? What is it doing that's preventing you from milling?
Scaring everyone away and eating the grain in the mill quickly. I mean, it's probably eaten a quarter of the grain in the mill already. And Telenor said that you could probably, like, if you were to, with all that grain there, we could probably save half the grain if you were to use like a quarter of the grain and use your bredomancy to make it into like the largest muffin ever.
I don't know that I have enough bredomancy to do that, but you're dropping in and out on my end over here.
I'm having trouble hearing. I'm not sure if I need to change where I am or.
Let me see. I think it might be.
Maybe it's our internet.
Yeah, it might be our internet.
So far, I don't think you guys have dropped out on me so far, so that's good.
So it's scaring people and
quickly consuming the stored grain.
Quickly consuming the stored grain. Oh, are you sure it's not just rats?
I've seen rats, and rats aren't like big wispy clouds of smoke screaming and flying around a mill.
Screaming. Okay.
Plus, my Tybalt is the town's rat catcher, and if they were rats, Tybalt would have gotten them already. But he's not a plasmid catcher, and we need you.
Well, I'm not really a plasmid catcher either, but if Telenor is busy,
what do wizards do?
Study mostly. Really, it's a lot.
It
less
seems like you would have a lot of.
Reading.
Sounds like you would have some free time then if you're just reading.
I have so many books to read. Look at my library. All right. I guess I'm at a stopping point since I've been interrupted. So point the way and I'll see what I can see.
Oh, good, because I wasn't going to leave until you came.
Cool. So we go. What does the mill look like when we get there?
It's kind of a rundown. It's made of stone. It's not mortared together. That's just held together by gravity. And it's not run down. Very well loved. It's functional and is not totally falling apart and still works, but is kind of disheveled.
Is it a windmill or water wheel, or they do it by hand? Magic?
It's a multi-mill. That's why it's so important to the town center. They got the the big windmilly part up top, and there is a river that flows right by it too that gets another little water wheel going, so they can really do some milling at this mill.
Okay, they got multiple.
Yeah,
things.
which is you could get through wheat really quickly if all the elements are with you.
This town is really known for its multi-mill.
Is there anyone around in or about the mill?
I don't know. I would say not right now because the rogue plasmid it's scared everyone away, and that's part of the problem. I think you can hear vaguely behind the stones from within the mill. You can definitely hear a supernatural type screaming, and every now and then the mill kind of vibrates, and like little fine bits of grain will like kind of poof out from the cracks between the rocks in the mill. So there's like
Nice.
there's a ruckus. There's a ruckus going on in there.
All right. Hey, it's Peter, the chat. Okay, the ruckus in the mill. And what is Rigorella? What's her disposition like? Is she scared, curious? Does she want to come with?
I mean, I would say she's pretty panicked when you say, Nick. You know, she's. I mean, the mill. It's kind of an urgent matter because the longer before this thing's taken, that's just the more grain that's getting consumed every hour.
Power.
So yeah, I mean, the point basically, her point being,
Are we back?
you will have to use up. Oh, did we lose Nick? Did you lose me? Because I see you.
I hear you, but I'm not seeing you move.
Oh, weird.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't see a Nick. I do see a you. Oh, she's moving closer to the Roger. There, there. Yeah, you're great on my end.
It's just getting stuff is the problem.
Yeah, kind of need to know stuff, huh?
Second.
I thought we lived in a technological age, full of amazing miracles
Plasmids.
and internets.
Yeah, it's probably plasmids.
Probably. So you said Rigorella is
I mean, I was saying I think she's pretty panicked because it's an urgent matter. The longer you wait, every hour, more and more grain is being consumed.
mm,
And so they're at the point now where like you're going to have to use some of the grain in your breadomancy to make a giant entrapment muffin. But
I
the amount of
I don't
grain you
have
will
any
have to
breadomancy.
well,
I
Telenor's been
can
training you. This is kind of like, you gotta
yeah.
try. You gotta try
I just
some.
haven't
You've
learned
been reading
anything
all
yet.
these
He's been
books.
I've been reading different books. Telenor's not a very good teacher. He's not very patient. I think he just wants me to make bread for him. I'm not sure there's any magic involved at all.
I mean, that's similar to what the villagers are doing. I think they just want you to do stuff for them.
Well, let's think about
the real-
your.
I think
I
I'm
was
going.
I was just looking at your acts of magic.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know. I think your
I think the
unveil your
ominous.
wizardess senses is a thing you can do,
Ooh,
right?
yeah.
And that kind of seems like when you're trying to feel out the path of a new magic, this bredomancy that
Yeah.
falls under that purveyance. Is that the right word?
Purveyance. Yeah. I think
I think it's perversion.
before I jump into this, I want to kind of get a read on Gorilla first.
We are
So
in a hurry.
I'm going to try to study and understand someone empathetically, which I am not very good at. I have a 1 die in that. So I'm going to roll 1 die here and see.
And remind me, it's real simple. It's like 1, 2. What's the roll mean?
Yeah, so I roll a number of dice equal to my score in that. I have a 1 in empathy out of like 4 or 5. Hits are 4, 5s, or 6s. Any hits are good. If it's a miss, well, we'll see. A 2. That's no good. So I get to ask a question still, but I am being calculating and not empathetic, and they can tell. And so the question I want to ask is there something that they're hiding from me? And if so, what?
Were you answering this? I haven't
Yeah.
hit.
Yeah. Go
Yeah.
ahead. Either one of us gonna go for it.
Yeah, I had the thread at the beginning. I don't think I have it totally. But the multi-mill is famous because it does so many things, but also perhaps we had been cutting corners, and perhaps we had been enlisting whatever magician was coming through, and cutting magical corners and not really being careful. So perhaps this was kind of inevitable.
And how does she react to me being like calculating, asking her questions instead of being empathetic?
I think, and then you get that information because she is like, well, what would you do? It sounds like you got to get through all you got to get through all of those books, and it just doesn't add up. You got to understand. You got to understand the position we're in. If you could cut some corners in your work, wouldn't you?
No.
Oh,
absolutely not. Magic is a serious and dangerous
is that why
proposition.
You're doing it so slowly?
Yeah.
We wouldn't even have this rogue plasmid if it weren't for all you wizards doing your wizardy things. That's how these things get loose anyway, to get into the, and you're like questioning our methods over here.
I can't.
We're just trying to make a living
in your time. I'm okay.
Mill bread, so the wizards like you can do your breadomancy.
Trying to find the name of the town.
Several extra moves of defensiveness if you need them.
Love it.
I'm ready to fight.
I don't know.
I'm trying to put this on Rigorella. Their mill procedures have nothing to do with a rogue plasmid flying around in there eating the grain. Now, if you want to question the procedures as far as the quality of the grain, that's one thing. But it has nothing to do with the rogue plasmid. That's on you wizards.
That's not my job.
Who is the wizard in charge of doing the magic here at the mill? Because I know it's not Telenor. He's got his own thing going on.
Yeah, that's why he assigned you. You're supposed to be like his apprentice or something. And he said to come to you because you were practicing the breadomancy. And he's like, a simple giant entrapment muffin. That should be easy. But I guess it's not, apparently.
Not for me. So you said there's a rogue plasmid from people doing magic at the mill.
Yeah, but it's just like whoever comes through. Like
so
any wizard that comes through and needs a hotel, they stay at the mill. And in exchange, they help the mill along a little bit.
All right.
Sometimes the wind doesn't blow, sometimes the water doesn't flow, and sometimes Carlos doesn't push the wheel around.
Who knows how many of you magic-y waivers have let off plasmids in the town over the years? I can't keep track of them all.
I mean, normally they just dissipate and go back to their own plane of existence, but I guess... Okay, anyway, I'm going to wave my hands and do some magic stuff, and I'm going
That's why we brought you here.
Unveil my wizardess senses. And I tell my volunteers that I'm unveiling my wizardess senses and roll. And I have a 1 in magic currently. So,
yeah.
And it's another 2, which is a miss.
That's unfortunate.
You just like smell the air, and Rigorella is just like
on a miss. This is exhausting and overwhelming. Don't exert yourself again without resting first, unless it's really truly desperate, and maybe not even then.
You need a hotel?
No matter what the result. Okay, so
we have one. It's this.
I do need to exert myself mentally or empathetically to I think I'm going to try and grasp the situation's nuances mentally, which has 3 dice. I'm going to do that. But after this roll, I can't exert myself again until I rest.
Wizards.
3 hits. 3 hits is good.
Hey.
Okay, finally. So yeah, I'm like doing the whole force fingers, reaching out, try like bringing in some whiffs of the grain that's coming in, and sort of like moving around the building, feeling the stones, doing all that stuff. It's like it actually exerting magical energy, and it is genuinely wearing me out. So on hits, I can ask questions about great. So One of the questions is everything cool here? Is there something going on? Cool. So I guess one question is, I'm looking for, is it obvious that I see the plasmid before the question? Like, is the plasmid like there clearly, or is it, I'm just seeing the effects?
I would say you hear it in the middle, or you hear what you assume is it, but
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't think you've seen
Yeah,
it.
you don't see anything.
Cool. So I guess I'm looking for the I'm looking for the method by which it was called up in the first place. Where would I start looking for that?
Well, the problem is yeah. It's probably
I don't.
from a lot
My
of different
gut.
sources.
My gut instinct is I don't know that that's something you could really find easily. Like I said, they are just sort of,
It's a patchwork quilt.
they are sort
plasmid.
of like remnants of possible like other wizards who had fails like you had and lost and things. So it's like it's not really especially at your level, an easy way to just like trace it back to its history.
You probably just
it-
added to it. It's kind of a patchwork quilt creature.
Mm.
I mean,
Or I
they
guess
know.
maybe
Maybe that's what you saw, is that you saw your failure kind of ploop onto it.
I guess maybe I'm looking for its true name. Where I start with that?
I believe it's all coming into clarity for you now. Like strangely, once you sort of gave in, you were very resistant at first. You're like, I don't even know breadomancy. I can't even do breadomancy. You can't ask me to do. But then, like, once you sort of, you tried and you failed. It's like Luke with the X-wing, and he's like, I can't even lift it. It's too heavy. But now suddenly there's like a serenity that comes over you, and you're like, wait a minute, breadomancy's not so hard. And she's asked you to form a great entrapment muffin because this was a plasmid created in a breadomancy occurrence at some point over the ring. That's how they know if they can make an entrapment muffin, it's more attractive than raw grain, and it'll go in there, and it'll be entrapped. And like suddenly it's just making sense to you now, and you realize like kind of missing ingredient, as cheesy as it is, was just believing you could do it.
Love.
But now you're like, it's weird. It's almost like when the Matrix untangles. You went from I don't even know, I don't do breadomancy yet, but you're like, wait a minute, I'm feeling the grain, I'm smelling it. I might be able to whip something up here. And part of that is like you don't even need to know his name, but it's starting to form. And if your breadomancy goes well enough, the name might form and make it easier even for you. Make it a more powerful entrapment muffin. You can still do it without his name, but the name may give you like a big bonus on that muffin. You agree, Nick? Is that all good?
Yeah, I'm forgetting the original question, so I'm just nodding along.
I just find it amusing that one of the rules is like, oh, the two volunteers have to agree. I'm like, is there ever a game when someone like does something like that and the other volunteer is like, no, that's not at all.
That's like more commonly how humans interact. Like I think I was like, oh yeah, I could just argue with everything and we could take longer, but it's more fun to just be like, and it's also this. But it's all that
I just can't
improv
imagine
is
you
ruined.
proposing some scenario and then me just going like, I do not agree with that.
Absolutely not.
That is not what happens. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I don't either. I was like, oh, I like that mechanic in that, like, I couldn't bulldoze you, but I don't see myself being like, absolutely not, start again.
Also intended for people who are maybe not as agreeable as improvisers.
Try again.
No, it's my way. Okay.
I mean, like, the way that we make, like, plans is never really, it's not even a compromise. It's just more like this step, and then also this, and also this, and also this, and also this.
Exactly. It's all about building.
That's
the fun part. It's like building the details.
Building overly complicated scenarios.
As opposed to, I say you need to do this muffin spell. Oh, well, I disagree. I think he needs to kill it with a sword.
And then we spend
and
all
it has
the
to
time
be
on the
at least a
round.
+5 bread making sword.
Yeah. So that sounds good to me.
So anyway, point is
so
you are in the moment. You're kind of feeling the
yeah.
breadomancy. It's around you.
So before I jump into the Bredomancy, my third question is: am I being watched or followed as I do this?
And
Yeah.
that's because of part of your successes, right? You got the 3 hits.
Yeah, yeah.
You notice there's like a small child or small creature up in the rafters kind of spying on you.
Does looking at it closer, like, does it look like a creature, or is it just a child?
It seems like a
creepy?
child. It seems like a child that's like kind of
Is it a child vampire? Are we in the other game?
Okay, I don't know if
every character shows up today.
I don't think acts of wizardry count as an exertion, so I think I can do magic unless I need to exert myself by doing it. And I think the only thing I can do is recite an ominous dissuasion.
Ominous dissuasion.
So I have
we
not
have the theme song.
learned. I have not learned the sigillomancy to create the muffin, but maybe I can.
You don't actually know bread magic.
I don't actually know bread magic at all. I need to read the book to do that. So I think what I do is, like, once I got the hang of it, I'm like, okay, cool. I know I can do this. I can kind of like form a mental muffin. And that is kind of like, so the magic works by like harnessing plasmids and like forming your mind into the shape of them and then releasing them. So I think what I'm doing is kind of like reaching out and searching for like the muffin shaped plasmid in my mind and kind of doing that and kind of feeling the shape of it and prodding it for like what it wants, what it's afraid of, what it, what would convince it to do stuff, and then kind of release that in my ominous dissuasion. And I think the way, I don't think yelling at it's going to do anything, because I'm sure people have tried that. I think what I do is I take a handful of the grain that's kind of like blown everywhere and just stand at the doorway of the mill and kind of sift it through my fingers and go, you want to come out of the mill and come outside. You want to leave the mill alone. Just kind of coaxing it out. So this is magic. So I need to roll my magic again, and that is 1 die. Let's see what happens. Gotta learn more magic. A 6. Great. That's a hit. On any hit, have your volunteers choose from the effect. So the subject is startled and dismayed, so it flees. The subject is chilled with dread and freezes and can only stare. The subject is overcome with fear and falls at my mercy. Or the subject, though terrified, keeps their faculties and stands their ground.
What was number 1 again?
They're startled and flee, chilled and freeze, afraid and falls at my mercy, or stands their ground, although they're terrified.
Do you have a strong preference, Nick?
I have an idea. It's kind of destructive. Let me know if this is too much. I think they fall at your mercy, or I think they fall, but so does the mill. Like they were kind of helping keep the stones stacked on top of each other together, and so they fall, and they're like, the plasmid is there kind of withering in front of you, but the mill too comes down. So open to that not being true, but
the only reason, and I'm okay with it, the only reason I question it is because he did roll a 6.
So he
I
did
feel
do
like
good.
That's
I just wanted them to be mad at it.
Pretty
like
great
he
success.
succeeded. He succeeded.
They can still be mad at me for other
No,
reasons.
that's what I'm saying. So
but the humans are mad at you. You did it like really well. The plasmid, you succeeded in the thing you wanted to do, but you
right.
But yeah, it is a 6. Yeah, maybe something.
You didn't do it the way they told you to, which was to form the bread entrapment muffin.
Yeah,
so
they're not.
They
wizards.
really
wanted.
They really just wanted a big muffin. They just wanted a big muffin. Oh, actually, maybe that's it. Maybe you defeat it, but also there's a crowd gathering that was excited about the muffin.
Nice.
Yeah, so the mill is standing. Or maybe it freezes. Maybe it freezes.
I was thinking about the first one that said it kind of startles it, and it runs away because then because then it's like, well, it's still out there somewhere. Damn it!
I like that one too. Yeah, and a crowd is gathering because they're like, a muffin.
The mill is safe for the moment, but there's no muffin, and the plasmid's still out there and is probably going to come back at some point.
Yeah. So good job. Good job. You did
Sweet. It. So I coax it out and kind of like now go. And it dissipates and flees.
I think it's startled by your breadomancy presence. It's like, oh, this wizard has some strong natural breadomancy and it is weird. Better not mess with him. Honestly, for now.
Last time there were wizards around here, I messed me up. Or added to me, and I'm done.
Yeah. I think he was scared. Yeah, I think it was scared that maybe you might actually be able to form the entrapment muffin, and then it would be.
Oh yeah, then I was like, okay, yeah. Little does it know. Cool. So there's a crowd gathered to watch my magic, and I guess.
And to eat your muffin.
Yeah.
I don't.
Because the entrapment muffins.
Muffin.
Well, if you had made the expected entrapment muffin, there would have been a feast for the entire town. Because they would each have to get to eat a piece of the entrapment muffin, which in turn destroys a tiny piece of the plasmid. Yeah. So it's like the whole town coming together to defeat the plasmid with one bite apiece. And it's a happy occasion.
It's not their first time having to do that. They know the ritual.
Yeah.
And
now none of that.
The muffin song is playing, and there's streamers. It's like a
there's a whole band of minstrels ready to kick up, and now they got nothing.
Yeah, they're ready. They're like, muffin time.
Who approaches me with their disappointment?
My hit is Telenor, since he was hoping you would pass this breadomancy test.
Oh, yeah.
And you didn't even do any breadomancy.
I
would see Telenor kind of walks up, just shaking his head. He's like,
you haven't taught me any actual breadomancy yet, Telenor. I can't do something that I don't know.
You felt it. You felt it. You were so close to the precipice. I saw the wisps of grain starting to form a muffin shape. But no, then you just went back to your old ways, the ways you know, because why try something new? Oh, I don't know, breadomancy. I'll just use my wizardy things to scare it away. So now it's out there again, probably munching somebody else's mill, and it will be back.
That's not munching our mill, which is all that I was asked to do. So I need a nap now, Telenor, if you don't mind. You know what? If you want to do the muffin thing, you go right ahead and do it. I have studying to do, and I am completely wiped out like this. So unless you have some more chores for me, I need to get back to my room.
You wanted my help in unlocking the first chapter of the Grimoire. I was trying to set you on the path. And now you have veered off away from the path you need to unlock that first chapter. Enjoy your nap while I go and try to make enough muffins to feed this angry crowd who's hungry.
Nice. So I go back to my room, I guess.
There's a lot of loud music still blaring as you try to nap.
You hear some vaguely improvised, songs about the shitty wizard who fucked things up.
We would have had a muffin today if we
just make muffins like a normal person. Jesus, there's a bakery. He has bread and muffins like he does. That's his job here. He already makes that.
I have to buy those.
Oh, so you're just cheapskate. Okay,
a regular muffin
go to sleep.
Doesn't have the taste of a giant entrapment muffin with a rogue plasmid in it.
Right. Yeah, no one would eat an entire plasmid, but having a little bit of a plasmid is pretty tasty.
I have the feeling Telenor just hates plasmids for some reason. Okay, I'm gonna go back to my room and rest up then. That's true. That's pretty. Then yeah.
Roll to see how restful your sleep is.
It's restful. I
guess it's required, so it doesn't really.
Yeah, I can't do much else before I rest. I can't exert myself before I rest. I might be able to, but not really. I think I'm gonna try and study again while after I wake up. So like, I think I've drawn the curtains. I've got my room blacked out, and so I got wake up and light some candles and just go back to the grimoire and study some more. Or I fall asleep studying it since it doesn't require an exertion. So I'm gonna roll my magic again. That's one die. A 5. It's a 5. I did it. Oh my god. Tally a number of insights equal to my hits. 1. Up to the number required for the section you're studying, discarding any excess. Oh, do I get to unlock part of the book now? I haven't done this part yet. Contents, section 1, insights. Oh my god, I'm unlocking an insights. This is very exciting. I haven't done this part before. Section 1, insight. Done. And now I get to read what section 1 says. Cool. Add 1 to my rating when I exert myself magically. Yes. Okay. Section 1, add 1 to magic, up to 3. And now, as an act of wizardry, I can now strenuously dissipate a wizardess will. No, strenuously dispute a wizardess will. Write that down. After I have identified a force of wizardess origin, a spell, for instance, or a plasmic entity, and discovered its nature and motive, I can tell my volunteers I intend to coerce or suborn it into a new transformed motive. I choose something from a list, and I do it or don't. Okay, cool. So I can.
So what are you at? It says add 1 to magic. What does that mean exactly?
So right now, when I do magic, I have 1 die. Because you always start off with just 1. This adds 1 to it. So now when I want to do magic, I roll 2 dice.
Oh, okay. So do you change that on your sheet? Do you put 2
Yeah.
under magic list now instead of 1?
Yeah. So that would be 2.
Right.
Boop. And that'll take up to 3. I can do that for. Awesome. Cool. So I think the way in fiction it works is that I kind of did learn from the muffin shape in my brain, and not only can I the mental muffin, not only can I have I figured out how to like coerce and dispel these things, but this helps me understand some of the things in the book I didn't understand before, and now I can strenuously dispute a wizardess will. So I can coerce plasmids to do my own what I want. Nice. Section 1 unlocked.
Powerful.
Not yet. There's still like 20 sections to unlock. Cool.
You've made
so
your
I
first
think,
muffin.
yeah, I've made my first mental
Mentally.
muffin. And I think after like this is also pretty strenuous, and I think it's like taken a full day of study to get up there, and probably come downstairs like 2 mornings after, feeling pretty good about myself, and looking to brag to Telenor about what I've discovered.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll go well.
Yeah, and the 2 guards are there too, right? The
Trog and Door.
Trog and Door. Yep, that's it. Oh, Trog and Door. There it is. Oh, I found the part where I wrote stuff down. Hunger. Oh, the Rising Loaf is the name of the bar, of the inn.
So you said you're walking in the inn?
Yeah, so I'm coming downstairs to the inn and sort of telling Telenor, hey, I learned some stuff from the book. I unlocked part of the signature. Get me some coffee and a muffin, like just a straight muffin, not a ghost muffin.
Yeah, and I think Telenor is a little bit like, well, you had the opportunity to learn by doing, and you learned by reading a book.
But I did learn.
All right, I'll grant you that.
I feel like Trog and Door is kind of looking at you, and then they start to slow. I'm like, Oh, there he is. There's our hero who denied us all our entrapment muffin. Yay, good job, wizard. Good job. Should have killed him
We
when
just
had the
had a
chance.
regular muffin yesterday.
I'm having one now, so happy breakfast.
Many
I'll be right
holidays.
back. I'm going to turn the light on. 1 second. I'll be right back.
Don't you gotta turn the light on?
It's getting dark outside.
Yeah.
It does look like the book is lighting you up because you've got this backlighting.
All right. So, what happens next?
I feel like you did notice in your understanding of the book, you said you kind of understood it a little better. You definitely, it was because of your forays into breadomancy. Like, you recognize certain words because they had to do with breadomancy. Things like, grain, yeast, or, baked. And just certain things that you maybe made more sense now in context.
Secret
Helped you,
wizard
helped
code.
open your mind.
I think I'm gonna tell Teledor I'm taking a day off. I'm gonna go sit by the stream by the mill and see. Just gotta
Eleanor's favorite
relax.
employee.
Yeah, I'm not an employee. I'm a patron.
Never work.
I'm just not.
I like the
job
idea
is
though that
magic.
he thinks you're an employee though. Like you never.
Well,
You always
that was
taking
part
days
of the
off.
deal. Part of the deal
Yeah.
was that Mark's character was going to like do stuff around the shop for
Help.
Telenor in exchange
Help out
for
with it.
this help and in exchange for the deal. Because initially, since you missed it, initially Telenor when he arrived at the tavern, Telenor knew he had the
The
grimoire,
signature. Yeah.
and he thought he was the rightful. It should have gone to him because he knew the previous wizard, and when she had said when she died it would go to Telenor, but it ended up with Mark's character. So Telenor was like, give me the book and we won't kill you. And Mark basically ended up convincing them somehow. Like,
I was
you fought the two
imprisoned.
guards, right? Yeah, you were
They-
imprisoned.
They grabbed me as I tried to leave, threw me
Oh,
in
that's
prison
right.
in the basement,
And you cast a
then I
spell that messed on two
spooked them.
guards.
and then tried to escape. Telenor grabbed me as I was going out, and then we had a little chat. And I got
Yeah, he basically made a deal to like, if he ever unlocks he'll share the secrets of the grimoire.
Yeah.
Telenor.
yeah, because
They made like a bonding deal that was like magic. It wasn't just like trusting your word. It was like an actual like.
Yeah, so when I fully
We have a
unlock
deal.
the book, it goes to Telenor, or when I die in the process.
Yes, and in return, Mark works around the bakery shop and helps
Yeah.
out.
When I feel like it.
Apparently, a bit of a surprise to Telenor, but
Yeah, and for some reason Telenor's not able to unlock it himself, or else he would have just taken it, I guess. So yeah, I'm just relaxing and enjoying the day by the mill. I think I'm gonna look for
I
that.
don't think he's had it. You've been studying it this long and haven't unlocked it. He
Yeah.
hasn't even had it in his possession, so it's not like he's had a chance to unlock it.
I'm sure with his power, he could easily take it from me, though. I don't know.
I
why
mean, he could
hasn't.
probably encase it in a nice crust.
Yeah.
He's busy though. He's actually making bread for people.
His breadomancy is strong.
I think I would like to, while I'm hanging out there, look for that kid that was out there hanging out by the mill. See if there's anything
The
there.
mysterious child.
Yeah. Do I see anyone around that fits that description?
You're just looking around the tavern?
Looking around the mill.
No, around the mill.
You hear giggles, but you can't see them.
Ooh, yeah, I follow the giggles.
Follow the
Oh,
giggles. That's what we're doing.
Man, how did you live this long following the giggles? That's a prime plasmid tactic right there.
It's a living. Love the giggles. Okay.
Have you ever seen a movie where following the giggles turned out well?
And the giggles bring you to. There's like a little shed outside the mill where they store like tools and stuff. And so inside there, you see a little kid silhouette.
Hello. Hello, little one. What's your name? Hello there.
And it said, "You're silly."
No, I am Aquarax of the West. I saw you the other day when I took the spell of the plasma from the mill so it could work once more, and I see it is indeed working.
You scared away my best friend.
Oh no. Your friend.
You have to help me find my best friend.
Ooh.
You scared him and you have to say sorry. That's what my mom told me, that when I do something bad, I have to go to the person and say sorry.
Ooh.
So that's what you have to do to Mel.
Mel. Ooh, we have a name.
Mel is my best friend. Oh, it just revealed the name. That's powerful, isn't it?
It's his true name.
Yeah.
He calls it Mel.
Mel the Plasmid.
It's probably short for something much longer and demonic.
Yeah. They're just like alien energy creatures.
Yeah.
So how did you meet Mel? And kind of like crouching down and probably have like a bit of muffin left from breakfast.
I think the kid waits for you to offer some of the muffin before doing any more.
Yeah, I definitely do. Like,
Yeah.
kind of mirroring, drawing the plasmid out with the grain, kind of like, come on out of the shed. Let's talk, hang out by the stream.
Well, my mommy says that I should be around the house during the day, and then I should go find somewhere to play. And the multi-mill is the most interesting. What's the name of our town?
Shade Tree.
It's the most interesting thing in Shade Tree, and also where no one ever goes, unless it's Muffin Day.
So is the mill kind of like self-running? Like people don't run it unless they have to push?
And Carlos is like a mule. But occasionally they have to bring Carlos, and Carlos's owner sometimes goes.
I mean, I feel like people come, like the mill does its thing making milling grain. And so people come up every now and then with like carts to take the grain away and distribute it around town, but it doesn't really require much in the way of like actual manpower in the mill.
Yeah.
It's like the coffee grinder at the grocery store. Just like put a bag under, get some grain and
yeah, so it's a fun place for a kid to play around. You can kind of.
I mean, to be perfectly honest, Carlos is probably supposed to spend more hours at the mill than he does.
Carlos also is like you. It doesn't really work much.
I get it.
Because he's like, the mill runs itself. Why do I need to sit here watching the mill all day?
Carlos is also a mule, so.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Go eat some grass by a tree.
Yeah. They're like, so what was your name, little person?
Oh yeah. Rue.
As in, you will rue the day. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
And then stabs you. You're dead.
Oh no.
I agree. Done.
Yeah,
Gavel.
Those volunteers have spoken.
I'm going to exert myself physically with violence.
Super dead. You killed the kid.
Maybe. Worst things have happened.
That's when we drove Mark to kill a child.
Yep, we did it.
I'm going to suggest that they make friends with Carlos instead of the plasmid.
I've already tried. Carlos is not interested in friendship.
No. Have you offered him snacks, carrots, apples, muffins?
No one has that kind of snack arsenal. I want to see Mel, and then starts like kind of like losing their shit a little bit.
Okay.
Temper tantrum.
I'm going to exert myself empathetically to try and understand them.
Oh gosh.
So yeah, I'm gonna just try and like figure out a way to soothe them and questions. And a 1. That's wrong. So I can still ask a question, but they're going to know I'm like trying to get something out of them and I'm not empathizing. How can I get them to show me where Mel is or might have gone?
Like at this point, Rue is like, you know what? Why would I ever? As a matter of fact, I'm not even. You want to hurt Mel. You were trying to kill Mel earlier. And now you shouldn't even be around when I find Mel. So I don't want you to help me find Mel. And when I find Mel, me and Mel gonna hide from you and then hurt you while you sleep.
Okay.
Stab.
Ooh. Oh no, I lost power. Did it.
Oh, we scared Mark so bad that his
We're back.
video blew out.
Come back. Oh no, wrong camera.
Your background's back. Yeah.
Now you're invisible.
You're also on you're on your other mic as well. I can tell.
Nothing.
You're far away. We can't hear you.
See, that's what happens when you mess with Mel.
Yeah, don't mess with children or Mel.
Mel fucks your
Making
shit
it
up.
All right, there we
worse.
go.
Hey, now you're back.
Back on my other mic. Yeah, I've got some loose connections over here. Okay, well, I guess I'm not going to help Rue then. Rue seems to be pretty good on their own. If Mel comes back, I'll deal with it then.
Yeah, but now you've got a child going after this thing that you don't want to come back.
Yeah.
Several loose ends, wizard.
Several loose ends.
This won't come back to bite you at all.
Not at all. I think.
Oh, you know what? Hold on. I just realized
No, go
this
for it.
probably is not affecting anything as far as quality goes. Maybe if I don't pretend like I'm streaming, that'll help. I'll turn that off. So now I'm streaming from here again. Just in case that was adding to the weird, connection problems.
I think, after finding that success in myself and finding antagonistic person, probably more than one after the muffin or lack of incident. I think in the afternoon, I return to the Rising Loaf and let Telenor know that I have exhausted the possibilities that Shade Tree provides my studies and to move on and continue my studies elsewhere. But
who'd you piss off?
No one. This is purely of my own accord. The energies here are, I feel, suffused with them sufficiently, and I need to find a more appropriate environment.
But you'll be coming back and working at the Rising Loaf, right?
Come back and work. No, I'm going to
The
go somewhere
agreement
else.
is you work here.
The agreement that I work here as long as I stay here, but if I'm not staying here, I don't need to work here.
Oh.
But I will come back and return the signature to you once I've uncovered the rest of it.
Or died.
Or, yeah, then that'll come back to you. Yeah. Okay. So, I will take a muffin for the road.
Your credit your credit has extended beyond what I would.
Those muffins are $4.95, sir.
I appreciate it.
You're such a freeloader.
I'm a wizard.
Yeah, but Telenor's a wizard too. It is working.
Yeah, maybe he's a bad wizard. That's why he has to work.
It's just not as much a call for breadomancy.
I think he's just like, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out.
Yeah. Trog and Dor are definitely holding the door open for you, like, bye!
You know. Goodbye.
Bye, friends.
Sorry everyone's antagonistic against you. We'll try to make you some friends soon.
I mean, he did it to himself, to be fair.
It's true. You're kind of rude to everybody. That kid was going to be your best friend, but nope.
And now.
It was just a
Get yourself a codependent child.
Bad luck of the dice. One failure.
One failure. Yeah. I feel like I don't know. I'm not sure. Is this the end of this chapter? I think. Was that a short
Yeah,
game?
you walk off into the sunset.
Yeah. We'll start with a new circumstance next time, I
And
guess.
then Ruth stabs you and you're dead.
Ah! I did a thing. I unlocked the book. I think I'm happy with an hour of play on this. Cool. Done.
Good game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
feel like
I
I
like
got
the-
the ropes.
I like the multi GM thing. That's a lot of fun.
That's fun. Yeah, it would be a nightmare with someone who wasn't fun to play with.
Yeah. It's a
Or
just like,
at least
hey,
more
just,
work.
just go find like two random people and tell them that you're doing this game and like tell them to answer questions for you. Okay.
But they have to agree.
Go to a diner. Yeah, you and you. Come here. I'm a wizard.
Tell me what happens.
All right.
But hey, unlocked
We
something.
do
Finally.
stars and wishes.
Yeah. Let's start with you, I guess then.
Oh no, I
Yeah.
suggested a thing that I'm not ready to do. Stars, I like this game. This is my first time playing, and it was.
Yeah.
I like the little mechanics. I like how the story. I always like seeing like how a game's mechanics support the story. Yeah, wishes. Not really any wishes. Just like I, I feel like I finally got my understanding of what was happening. Mostly just understanding how we could fuck with Mark. Yeah, that's me. I had a good time.
Cool. Heath.
It's a fun game just because it's so freewheeling. Once it was definitely easier since I had one session under my belt. So I kind of came in knowing what to expect. Like, oh yeah, it's not. I mean, it is a game, but it's like it's much more like an improv scene
Yeah, and just sort of like
where kind of like me
sometimes
and
stuff
Nick
works
are,
and sometimes it doesn't. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're the only character, and then we're co-deciding what happens in every.
We just play
Yeah.
everyone else.
Yep.
So I mean, yeah,
This
it's
would
fun.
make a good improv show.
Yeah.
And it is fun. I mean, it's fun to have the mechanics there because that does help dictate where the story goes. Like again, like if you do a really good roll, it's like, oh, okay, well then that's
Yeah,
gonna
and they
take
have
this.
this like scaffolding of the setting and stuff too. Like
Yeah.
there's because I have in my book there's like 25 chapters to unlock as I do stuff. So
Yeah, that I didn't actually know that because like I didn't have any like firm plans coming in, but I did. I remember last time we played, we were talking about how like by the end of it, you hadn't really unlocked anything.
yeah,
So coming into that, I was thinking like, oh yeah, you should probably definitely like unlock something this round. But I didn't realize there was an actual mechanic for that built in. Like
yeah,
I was thinking it would be up to us to be like, oh, okay, and then you do this spell and you unlock chapter 1 now. Congratulations.
Absolutely not.
So I've had this game for I don't know a year and a half or so, and it's got like the back half of the book is like don't read these until you unlock them.
Mhm.
So I haven't. I've got this game book, but I'm like I want to know what's in it, but I can't do it.
I thought we were going to have to basically, it was on us to tell you, okay, fine, you've unlocked a chapter because of you did a Bretamancy spell or whatever, you know. So it's cool that there is little things built in of like,
Yeah,
I'm still even exactly understand what happened. You got like a stat or an insight from something, and that lets you unlock a thing. I was like, all right, great, cool.
So I basically got an extra point of wizarding, and I got a new spell that lets me capture plasmids and like have them do chores for me or something.
But like, what allowed you to get that?
So one of the acts of wizardry I can do is studying the Grimoire.
Right.
And I roll my magic, which is 1 die. And last time I did that, and it did not because.
Right.
And then basically every hit you get is a point you can use, and different things,
Okay, cool.
different
cool.
numbers of things to unlock. The beginning ones just take 1 success, but later ones take more.
I mean, that's another cool thing about it is that like it's fun being the co-GMs, but it is cool. It's a very interesting game because of its very thing. Can't think of the word of not nature. I mean that works, but the whole theme of the game is like just find two random people. They don't really need to know it. It'll be fine. You know? And so it's cool. It really is like you don't really got to know
Yeah.
really anything other than just like have fun and make cool story choices. Like
Yeah. Just do
so, it's
adventure
not
stuff.
yeah, not like traditional games like oh the GMs we really need to know the rules and we need to know that this is how you do this and this is
Yeah.
how you do that. It's like nah, we just got to come up with fun stuff.
Yeah. Literally, all I have to do is answer my questions.
Yeah, that was helpful. I was like, oh yeah, no rules, got it.
No
Glad
rules.
Peter could join us in chat even though he was sick.
Yeah, Peter, feel better soon.
Plasmid Squad activate. All right, I'm going to stop the stream. Thank you, whoever watched us. Goodbye.
Bye.
Wizard.